Did you know that the surface of Mars, millions of kilometers away, is mapped in greater detail than Earth's own seabed? Think about that. We know more about another planet than our own ocean floor. And what if I told you this largely unexplored seabed may hold some of the most valuable resources of the 21st century? Something far more important to the modern economy. Scattered across the deep ocean floor are billions of potato looking nodules. And inside them are metals the world desperately wants: nickel, cobalt, copper, manganese. The ingredients which power batteries, electric vehicles, renewable energy systems, power grids, and countless technologies we use every day. As countries race toward a cleaner, more electrified future, demand for these minerals is surging. But there's a problem. India doesn't have enough of them. Much of the world's cobalt comes from Democratic Republic of Congo. Large nickel supplies come from Indonesia, and a significant share of mineral processing is controlled by China, which means a simple battery isn't really simple at all. It's a global supply chain stretching across continents. A supply chain India doesn't fully control. So, where do you find more of such critical minerals? For decades, the answer seemed obvious. Dig deeper, go underground, explore new mines. Eventually, scientists began looking somewhere else, far beyond the coastline, far beyond offshore oil platforms, to a world hidden beneath kilometers of water. A place so remote that until recently, more people have walked on the moon than have visited some parts of it: the deep ocean. Kilometers below the sea surface lie vast fields of these mineral-rich nodules. Silent, dark, untouched for millions of years. And now, India wants to reach them. Unlike minerals mined on land, these potato-shaped treasures aren't buried beneath mountains of rocks. They simply sit on the seabed, waiting. What's even stranger is how they form. Every drop of seawater contains tiny traces of dissolved metals. Not much, just little. Over millions of years, those metal particles slowly accumulate around small objects lying on the ocean floor. It may be a shell fragment, a shark tooth, a tiny pebble, layer after layer, like a pearl forming inside an oyster, except far slower. A polymetallic nodule may grow only a few millimeters in an entire million years. In the same time, continents move, ice ages come and go, entire species appear and disappear, and yet the nodule may have only grown to less than the width of your little finger. That's how slowly these mineral treasures are created. Finding these nodules is one thing, recovering them is another. On an average, they lie nearly 5 kilometers below the sea, a place humans were never meant to enter. The pressure there is crushing. A tiny crack isn't a malfunction, it's a catastrophe. So, engineers aren't sending divers, they are sending robots, as big as a house, heavier than battle tanks, crawling across the seabed in total darkness. Not drilling, not blasting, just collecting the nodules and pumping them nearly 5 kilometers to a ship above. It's less like mining and more like a space mission. Except the hostile world isn't in space, it's right here on Earth. India's deep sea mining began more than 4 decades ago. In the 80s, Indian scientists started studying a part of the ocean most countries barely understood. More than 2,000 kilometers of Kanyakumari lies the central Indian Ocean basin. It contains more than 300 million tons of nodules. India was the first country to receive the status of pioneer investor in 1987. But reaching them was the real challenge. And that's the challenge India has been preparing for ever since. Today, the effort includes Matsya 6000, a submersible designed to carry humans to nearly 6 kilometers underwater. Deep-sea rowboats that can operate under crushing pressure. There are also seabed rovers that can map, survey, and test mineral collection systems. Some have already retrieved nodules from the ocean floor during trials. Step by step, mission by mission, India is building the tools needed to operate where conventional mining equipment simply cannot. In the deep ocean, technology is the real resource before the physical resource. India isn't the only country interested. China has spent decades expanding its deep sea capabilities. Its research vessels regularly survey large parts of the Indian Ocean. Advanced submersibles have reached some of the deepest places on Earth. You must have heard of Chinese survey vessels in the Indian Oceans, which means this isn't just a search for minerals. It's also a competition for knowledge, for strategic leverage. Before resources are extracted, they need to be mapped, studied, measured, and understood. But finding minerals doesn't mean you can mine them. Think of it this way. Imagine discovering gold on top of Mount Everest. The gold is there, that's not the question. The question is whether you can reach it and bring it back safely, reliably, and profitably. The same challenge exists in the deep ocean. And then there's another problem. Technology doesn't stand still. Take cobalt. For years, it was considered essential for modern batteries. Then, engineers started reducing it. Some batteries now use far less cobalt. Some use none at all. A breakthrough in battery chemistry could change the economics overnight, turning billions of dollars of mining infrastructure into stranded assets. The nodules aren't going anywhere, but the market might. If the economics are uncertain, the environmental questions are even more contentious. The deep ocean isn't empty. Scientists discover new species there every year. Transparent creatures, bioluminescent creatures, animals that have spent millions of years evolving in isolation. Many have never been filmed. Some haven't even been named, which raises an uncomfortable question. How do you mine an ecosystem you barely understand? Imagine walking into a library containing millions of books that haven't been read, that haven't been catalogued, and then tearing out the shelves. That's how some scientists and environmental groups view deep sea mining. Mining machines can stir up vast sediment plumes. Noise can travel for kilometers through water. Habitats can be altered in ways we don't fully yet understand. And recovery is slow, extremely slow. Those nodules took millions of years to form. Remove them today, and they won't return in our lifetime, or our children's, or many generations after that. Supporters, however, have a different argument. They say mining on land has costs, forests are cleared, mountains are blasted, rivers are polluted. The debate isn't between damage and no damage. It's about which damage society is willing to accept. And right now, there's one problem. Nobody fully knows the answer. And that's where the story stops being just about minerals and starts becoming political. Many of the mineral-rich regions aren't inside any country's boundaries. They are beyond territorial waters, beyond exclusive economic zones, in a part of the ocean often described as the common heritage of humankind, which creates a complicated problem. If nobody owns the seabed, who gets to mine it? Who gets the profits? Who decides the rules? To answer those questions, countries created the International Seabed Authority. Its job is to manage these resources on behalf of humanity, to issue exploration rights, and eventually decide how commercial mining should work. But there's a catch. The rules for large-scale mining are still being debated. Some countries want mining to begin, others want a pause, and some want a moratorium until scientists better understand the environmental risks. While technology keeps advancing, the politics struggles to keep pace. And until those questions are settled, most deep-sea mining remains exactly where it has been for millions of years, on the ocean floor. There's another possibility. What if deep-sea mining never became a major industry? After all, mining isn't the only way to solve a resource problem. Old batteries can be recycled, discarded electronics can be mined for valuable metals, Engineers are developing new battery chemistries that rely on more abundant materials like sodium and iron. Every improvement in battery efficiency means fewer raw materials are needed in the first place. The race for critical minerals may not be won in a mine, not on land, not in a deep ocean, but in laboratories, recycling plants, and better technologies. The cheapest ton of minerals is the ton you never have to dig up. This brings us back to India. At its core, this isn't really a story about rocks. It's a story about being prepared. India's economy is growing. Its electricity demands are rising. The renewable energy ambitions are expanding. And all of that will require enormous quantities of minerals. The question is where those minerals will come from and whether the deep ocean should be one of those sources. For now, India isn't rushing to answer that question. Instead, it's building the tools to understand it, mapping the seabed, testing technologies, studying ecosystems, learning what lies nearly 5 kilometers beneath the waves. Before deciding whether to mine the deep ocean, you have to first understand it. And that's what makes the story bigger than minerals. The nodules may or may not be mined. The economics may change. The technology may evolve. The rules may be rewritten. But the knowledge gained along the way will remain. Whether the future of deep sea mining is measured in tons of minerals or not, the first step was never extraction, it was exploration.